Welcome to the channel, everyone. Welcome to the channel, everyone. This is Mike with Door and Lock Tips. We're going to be talking about this cool tubular code cutting key machine by WENXING. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. WENXING. This is a great tool. I don't want to drop it. You're going to love it. I'm going to show you how to calibrate it. That's something no one's ever showed anybody. And if you don't calibrate this thing right, it looks like you're not going to have much success. So let's jump into the show. I'll show you exactly how to calibrate this tool. You need to know. A tubular lock key cutting masterpiece if it's calibrated properly for a reasonable price. So let's get into the show. Here's the tool. Throw some light on the subject. There we go. Look at that. Great tool. I think it's pronounced WENXING. Great tool, but how do you calibrate it? They have a set screw here to move this cutter, which is like a mill, in and out. And trust me, it's not easy to calibrate this tool, but it is if you own a depth gauge. Let me show you the depth gauge. Oh, you're going to love it. It makes this much easier to calibrate. And if it's calibrated properly, it will cut your tubular keys perfectly. I've already put the key into the machine. And with the cutter backwards out of the machine, you can index this key quite easily. Just like that. And then this is the depths of the cuts that you have to calibrate in, just as easy as pie with a special tool from Amazon of all places, and it will calibrate this in seconds. Let's fly in on the subject. I do love flying in. It's wonderful. So here is the tool. There is your tool you're going to get from Amazon for next to nothing. If you don't have this tool, you won't be able to calibrate your machine. Here it is right up close. It's a great tool. I don't know what I did without it. You got to get this to zero. So you're going to take a flat plate of metal, you're going to push down on it, and you're going to make sure it's dead flat against that surface, and you just go to zero. Now you can go to millimeters, inches. Isn't that cool? But we want inches. It's zeroed out. It's spring loaded. It's so cool. I just stumbled across this because I had such problems trying to calibrate this machine. How do you do it? They tell you to go to zero, pull this out, you go to zero, and that's the depth of the cut, by the way. And then you can put your key anywhere you want, but you need a blank. So let's get a blank. You take your machine, you have a blank key. I've already cut this one spot, so we don't want to get in that spot. We want a blank key. They tell you you can put it anywhere you want. And then you've got to set this to zero. And then you take their cutter mill, stick the mill in, and theoretically, this should work. If this is on 0, that means there's nothing coming out of this cut. This is not past the surface. And they want you to push your key down, which you're going to be in a, it won't turn unless you pull this out. It won't index. You want to be in a spot that you haven't cut on a key. You're on 0. You push this forward, and there should be no gap between your key and the surface of this cutter. When you push this forward, no gap. And how you adjust it is there's a set screw, and they give you a beautiful wrench. This is very necessary because when you tighten this up after you've got your calibration correctly, you got to really tighten that down on that cutter. Otherwise it will slip. So that's how they tell you to do it. But I'm going to show you a really easy way to do it. So here's what I suggest you do. Take your key out. You put this on the number 1 cut, just like so. You can put your cutter in there, and you take this killer gauge you get from Amazon. It's called iGaging, and I'll put a link down in the description. You take the gauge and you got to zero it out from this point here to the flat point right there. Okay, we got it zeroed out. Now you just come over. You're on the very first cut. That should be 16 thousandths. You come over onto your blade, and this should be 16 thousandths. It is. It's 15 to 16 thousandths, guys. I spent a long time making sure it was with this gauge. This has to be sticking out around 16 thousandths. Then you adjust this to get to that point by taking their wrench, loosening this up, and pushing this blade in and out till you get to 16 thousandths. It's better, it has much more accuracy than trying to do this at 0 like they suggest, and sticking this through here and having that 0 stick out, because believe it or not, you have to be out a little more than 0 for this tool to work perfectly. There you have it, guys. I highly suggest you use this gauge right here in conjunction with your beautiful tubular key cutter. This really does a nice job. All self-contained, and it's a code cutter, so you can cut any depths you want, whereas the other ones you just have to duplicate. But this handheld one you can cut by code. There is a couple drawbacks. You have to really push in when you're turning to cut a key. When you have your key mounted in the tool and you have your depth set, whatever that might be all the way down to 7. When you push this in, you got to really make sure that this surface, we'll just pull the key out of here, this surface is dead flat when you're turning, cutting with that mill. If this is not dead flat while you're cutting, you got to get it to dead flat. You haven't cut the depth properly. That might be where everybody's making their mistake. They don't have their machine calibrated properly, and when they turn this, they're not cutting all the way to depth, because you think it's down there, but you got to really push really hard and crank this. Otherwise, it will not cut these depths on the key. It just won't do it. There you have it, guys. Please subscribe to my channel. You will love this tool if you calibrate it right. Buy this to calibrate it. iGaging. And then you'll have a great machine. And how you pronounce that is everybody's guess. Please leave. Well, you can't do a verbal, can you? Well, you could give me a link to show me how to pronounce this. WENXING. That's what I say. WENXING. Hooray. To the rescue. Calibrate it right. You got to calibrate it. Now, your next thing to do is you hit that like button. That'll calibrate my channel. Welcome to the channel, everyone. This is Mike with Door and Lock Tips. We're going to be talking about this cool